Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. I'm Gamey Daddy, or Amake as you know me. And today we are taking a small deviation and we're delving a little bit, we're just dipping our toes into Arkham Origins, Batman Arkham Origins. And with me today is Mr. FatNinja DM. He is going to be commenting on this game from the perspective of somebody who, is a comic book nerd, but, is not really on the Batman team just yet. He can appreciate Batman and all that. But my goal is at the end of all of this, that we would have, won for ourselves a new Batman fan among the ranks. So, Mr. FatNinja, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know exactly who you are. I'm going to be playing on easy, by the way, because it's easier to talk and play. All right, let's hear it, Mr. FatNinja.
All right, I'm FatNinja DM, social enlightenment through positive gaming. I am a dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons for over 23 years and a fellow nerd at arms with Gamey Daddy here. And like he said, haven't played this game, but of course I know about Batman, and it's just really cool to take this journey with a fellow nerd and just experience this game together. So without further ado, let's get it.
Yeah, this game doesn't wait for you. It starts out in the most epic way ever. I mean, you see a Bruce Wayne all cut up and going. And by the way, Mr. FatNinja, this is, and I mentioned this to you, this is the game developed by the folk that are going to be making Batman, the Gotham Knights game. This was done by Warner Brothers Games Montreal, in between Arkham City and Arkham Knight. So I wanted you to kind of get a feel for this game, which was made after Arkham City, and then we're going to go back. So look at this. He's talking to Vicky Vale here. Do you remember he was talking to also Vicky Vale in the beginning of Arkham City, and you told me about that Prince reference? And I told you to note that down and see how another studio followed Rocksteady very closely, and tried to at least, keep some of their elements in there, even in their story. That's a lot of respect, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, no, it's respect, and also, let's be frank, it's a little bit of fear because if they would have deviated too much, they would have got cussed out. Because, like like we've said before, when the previous game that we were, getting into was released, it raised the bar so high that people was like, "Oh no, we can't release our game. What you want to release it now? Oh, no. If you release that game right now, I will kick your ass."
That's
So,
funny.
so yeah, with them paying respect, it's definitely respect. But at the exact same time, the gaming industry, as you know all too well, is a very dog eat dog world when it comes to like, hey, something was good, we gonna go with it too because everybody copies everybody. We've been knowing that for years. If something a trend is good, everybody's gonna jump on it. So they even if they wanted to do something different, they knew that they couldn't.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting that, and now with Gotham Knights, what's crazy is with Gotham Knights, they now have free reign. So that's why I think you said this, that, even if they wanted to really do something different, they really couldn't. That's number one. Number two, they were very pressed for time. This game was developed in like 2.5 years using assets from Arkham City, but they just had to tweak everything again, added a little bit of snow, did some reverse engineering. And so it's a cold Christmas night. That's the setting. And it's a prequel to Arkham City. So I think that story aspect gave them a little bit more room if they had done it before the events of Arkham City. So somewhere in between Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, they slapped this little event in there, and it's as epic as you can have. It's actually in one of my favorites of all of them. It's crazy how I can't determine which one's my favorite, but I think this one is actually one of them. Yeah, I can't really ever get this thing on my first run, so let's try that again. Yeah. All right. Hey, I don't get a smooth run, but hey, whatever it is. So look at the environment here. Okay, this is Arkham Prison, and it's a mess. Okay, it's already a mess. It's been broken, dilapidated. There's been a jailbreak more than anything else. And okay.
Okay, stop right there. Stop. Back up a little bit. Back up. No. No, turn around. Turn around.
I
Turn around.
can't. I'm now in a cutscene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I was getting ready to say, like those claw marks on that pillar, like you know who it was. So like doing that foreshadowing, like you saw those massive claw marks on that pillar. So you automatically know at some point you're going to be fighting against Killer Croc. I mean, of course, the game's been out for a while now, so you've seen playthroughs. But like,
Mm-hmm.
if that was the very first time that you were playing the game and you didn't see any gameplay from reviews or anything, just that once again environmental storytelling, foreshadowing.
Hmm.
You saw the claw marks. It's like, oh boy, I gotta fight Killer Croc at some point.
Let me
you
see.
know.
Let me go back now. Show me where those claw marks are.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Where?
like right when you walk down the steps.
Oh, right when you. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you'll see him on a pillar to your right hand side. So, yep, going back. It's going back. Nope, go back to
Oh,
the steps. Yep,
right
turn it
here.
down there. Okay, now turn around.
Right
Now
here.
go back down. Yep, you'll see him off to the right there. Yep.
Oh my gosh. That's interesting that you caught that. I've never seen this. I've played this game many, many times and I've never seen this before. Okay. And you were able to kind of capture it and say, from an environmental design, they're already telling you, okay, by the way, look, foreshadowing, interesting. From the non-Batman fan, already look at the wall and went like, oh yeah, Killer Croc. Are you sure you're not a secret Batman fan? That's interesting. That's interesting that you saw that.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I guess it just comes from my years of playing Dungeons and Dragons. Looking at modules and all that stuff. Is environmental storytelling and just settings are something that you got to pay attention to when you're a dungeon master. So you have to add in details and pay attention to details to immerse your players in the world that you're trying to set up before them. So I guess my mind is kind of just tuned to that, I guess.
That's cool. That's really cool. And so I guess right off the bat, you can say they've done a good job. The interrogation mechanics that we just saw just now, they use that a lot in a lot of them. But it seemed like it just got a little bit more prevalent in these other games.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because that's how Batman, his tools are not always available to extract all the information that he needs. So he's still got to go back to the old tried and true. Grab a thug and threaten to hurt him and so to get other information. So once again, it just keeps along with the essence of being the Batman.
That's pretty cool. I turned off the hints, but I guess that also meant those little things on their heads that tells you, hey, you gotta counter this guy. So now I don't have those, so somehow I have to do without. But it's fine. I'm playing on easy difficulty, so I'm just I'm just plowing through them. I bet you if I was on harder difficulty, that probably won't fly. And so the I guess I need to ask you about the beginning of this game, the way it starts out compared to the way Arkham City started out. What is your take on Act 1? Because this is the beginning, the introduction. You just jump straight into where it's happening, right? Compared to Arkham City, where it's a different setup. Oh, there he is. There's your guy right there.
Yeah, you definitely have two modes of pacing. And this one is just like, let's just jump straight into it. They didn't have that slow build, and that's okay. Sometimes you need a slow build, and other times you need a quick jab on in there and just get it going. It just all depends on what you're trying to convey to the audience. And with this, of course, they're trying to convey like, okay, Batman is under not duress. He's just super busy. He's got to just keep it moving because there's a jailbreak. There's chaos all around. He's got to quench the uprising as soon as possible. So in this aspect, the quick jump in is definitely warranted.
I see. Okay, so story basically has driven the pacing compared to Arkham City, where it's more like, okay, we're in a jam, And oh, look at that character profile unlocked, Vicky Vale. Okay, they like Vicky Vale in these studios, man. I don't know what's up. They're just like, oh yeah, Vicky Vale. Okay, so what you're saying is, progression is a big deal, and progression is basically driving the way this game is actually flowing. That's very interesting to figure that out. That's crazy. I would never have thought about that. What's here? Oh, week, whatever. So to me, I like the way this game starts out with a lot of the action. You don't really have too much time to linger around. You're Batman immediately. And you see your very first villain immediately. And as let's keep see, this is him again. And Black Mask is here behind him. Basically, now Black Mask is like one of the mainer villains and so cool. Presentation is so good. And, well, you do your thing. Talk about the rogue gallery so far and what you're seeing in the way they're, revealing these villains in the progression so far.
Yeah, well, now here in this aspect of the rogue gallery, you have to have two, because by himself, Killer Croc is not a superior threat. He's got to have a motivator behind him doing what he does. So of course now enter the Black Mask, now which by himself, without his resources, wealth, and stuff like that, he's really not a major player, so to speak. But when you put the two together and in the setting that you got right now, that makes for a very nasty combination, because you got the stereotypical brains and brawn. Black Mask is super intelligent, super tactical, and then you got the all-out just rage and just brute strength of Killer Croc, with Black Mask directing that rage where to go.
Huh. Oh my gosh, look at you, fan. All right, yeah. I mean, yeah. You have, I mean, this is really impressive that, yeah, maybe we can say this is general knowledge in the comic book the comic book fandom, but there are very important points that you've raised so far that I can say are not just, important points in fandom, but important details in knowing deep story arches in fandom. So you're talking about this stuff on a whole different layer. And as we were playing Arkham City, I had a feeling that I had to fire up Arkham Origins for you, because I was like, there's some interesting points that you're going to, that are going to basically appeal to you. And I think I was on the money, because you're seeing everything that you got to see in Arkham City. You're seeing it here, but now we have a whole different set of villains in a sense, which is very interesting, if you get what I mean. So let's chase down Black Mask, and let's chase down what's his name?
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc. What's his real name? Something Johnson or something like that. Experiment gone wrong.
Don't get me lying about that. I don't know his real name off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's not one that's just sitting there. It's not like Sionis, where everybody knows there's a big old Sionis factory inside of Arkham that you have to go to and deal with. So yeah. Look at Black Mask. He's got the aesthetics. All his men are wearing his masks. That's one way they kind of did they didn't have to deal with a lot of the facial models in a lot of the games. They'll just put the mask of the villain on their thugs. Look, he just like whacked him in the face. That's crazy. Killer Croc is ridiculous. So is Black Mask. And another thing too about this game is, this is the commissioner. This is the commissioner is corrupt, and he's working. His boss is Black Mask, and he's not satisfied with what the job that the commissioner has done. So what does he do? He just takes him out. Black Mask is ruthless, and they don't spare any reason to not show his ruthlessness. What do you think about that? Do you think that is? I guess it's a question you've answered, but talk about that. Maybe the audience can see the perspective that you bring on this.
Well, I definitely like it. Like they do. come across with Croc's brutality and stuff like that. And of course, they can't go overboard because, like in the comics, oh, he's been known to just grab somebody by the waist, lift them up, and just bite their head off, or stuff like that.
Mm,
But they still do a good job of it here, letting people know, like, man, Killer Croc, this dude is unhinged. Like, you really don't want to mess with him. Like, he may not be that intelligent, but if he gets a hold of you, you're in for a bad, bad time. So they do a good job in this game, like keeping true to the characters, not letting them do anything that would be out of character too much,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and that's the thing though, like since they could have free reign, they could have really did that, but why, what's that saying, if it's broke, don't fix it. Now you could tweak
mm-hmm.
it here and there, but for the overall thing, it's a good thing. Why mess with it? And I use that little thing that nobody knows about called the internet. Killer Croc's real name is Waylon Jones.
Waylon Jones. Yes, I said Johnson. Shoot, I was off.
Yeah.
I was off. Cool. So we already have a boss fight. Killer Croc's like, I'm not going. He wants to throw Batman off of his bosses, back and deal with him. And this was a very savage battle. Look at the facial expressions on both of them. And by the way, this is a younger Batman. Not a lot of succinct aspects of the character himself, if you get what I mean. So this is pretty much what we see here with this character. Is he's crazy. Let's see. Okay, if you stun him, you can beat him. Wham. Okay. And he's gonna basically say, "No, I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm gonna try to kill you." Huh. So far on this boss fight, maybe I need to play it a little bit more. There, I got him. Wow, Killer Croc. Jeez. Let me get in. Easy is easy to play. Hard, man. Ah. Okay. Look at this. Does this help you? Like, how does this speak? Oh, this is what a Killer Croc combat fight or scene or sequence will look like.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, in the comic books, it's not nothing for Croc to just grab somebody and just chomp their face and head off with like another day at the office. I mean, but they still portray very correctly his strength and brutality. I mean, look at him. He's picking up one of those big tail gigantic canisters of gas. Batman can't do that unless he got like some power armor on or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they're still portraying him very adequately, and then plus how Batman gets his licks in, and then Croc gets so angry he just like barbarian rage just takes him and throws him off him like, dude, stop tickling my face, and then he just throws Batman off of him. And just the setting for the fight is really good, because I mean, look at the snow. that is really cool, because like in a lot of aspects, you would see like footprints in the snow. No, you actually see the degradation of all the steps in the snow and how the snow is lowering down. Once again, environmental storytelling, immersion, it all comes into play when you're playing a game, because even if you're not a comic book fan, if you can take one thing away from the game, it's like they really drill down on environment and in storytelling and stuff like that. So it's just a really good all-around game. I mean, yes, as in all games, you're still going to have your technical hiccups from time to time here and there, glitches and whatever. But as an overall package, I mean, it's second to none. I mean, and like we've said before, I'm not a big Batman fan, but I can definitely appreciate good storytelling, good mechanics, and good pacing, and all of them are definitely on display here. in this
That's
game.
good. That's good. That's good. That's good. So I just wanted us to do this episode as a short episode because we don't want to delve too much into, the entirety of, of this game so far. I mean, it has to be something that we make our way, to. But I wanted to show you a project that's done by, the development team that's going to be working on Gotham Knights, and see, so you can see some of their own development prowesses, some of their own, their own track record as well. Because you mentioned track record in our last episode when we were playing Arkham City, and I wanted you to just kind of take a look at this. But we'll go back to Arkham City in our next, subsequent episodes, and then maybe even jump a little bit into Arkham Knights just for a little teaser there of what we're going to be doing with it. And all of this, we're doing this, as kind of a road and a journey to Gotham Knights being released. So, Mr. FatNinja, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on all of this. I'm glad that, you're starting to see a different appreciation of what the Batman games are able to bring, and even the kind of work that these developers put in. This was years ago compared to today, where, if you look at the news, they're saying that Marvel Avengers has lost 60% of its player base. I mean, you have a franchise of that sort, and, you want it to go one direction when this is the mark. Everybody was hoping that that game will be this game. And for them to tell the audience that that game is not this game was already a problem. The game was not going to be like an Arkham game, but was going to be more like an MMO style-ish game like Warframe. I don't think the community, of gamers in regard to the comic side are 100% necessarily ready for that yet. I think they enjoyed the depth and all of the work that has been done with these comic heroes from, the beginning, where each villain, each story, each hero, each person that helps and is kind of an enemy or friend to Batman or the Marvel guys in that sense. And that's what I think people wanted to see rather than what they saw with Marvel's Avengers. And I think that's probably why they've lost a lot of players on the long run. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. I appreciate y'all for hopping into this video. Thanks for hanging there with us. Leave comments in the comment section. Let's know what themes you want us to discuss. We will be happy to bring them up in subsequent videos. We appreciate you guys a lot, and hopefully we'll see in another video. Mr. FatNinja, tell the audience goodbye, and we'll sign out.
All right, FatNinja DM here, kicking it with Gaming Daddy, social enlightenment through positive gaming. And when you least expect it, I just stole your critical hit and your sandwich. Later, folks.